Hi, welcome to Go Yvonne. My name is Yvonne and I make videos about my life in China. Earlier in the week, I reached 5K on my YouTube channel and I decided to celebrate that with a Q&A. So here we are doing a 5K Q&A. Before I start answering some of your questions, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel. I really didn't think I was ever gonna get 5,000 subscribers, but here we are with 5,000 of you watching my videos already. So thank you. So lots of people ask me where I live and whether I live in Beijing or not, or if I'm traveling here. I have been living in Beijing since 2013, for about 7 years right now. And at first I really never wanted to live here when I first came here in 2010 because I thought this city was way too big and too much going on, but now I really come to love it. I also lived in Shenyang in the north of China and in Shaoxing, a smaller city in Zhejiang province. A lot of people also ask me about work and what I do for a living. Right now I work at an international school. In the past, like when I first came to China, I worked at training schools and at a kindergarten and a university. So I've always worked in education because that is what I went to school for. I have a degree in education and that is what I like doing most. So with work comes training. Like people ask me to, like, did you go to school for this, or can I just go to China and start working there? Well, it doesn't really work that way. You have to have a degree. In the past 10 years, rules and laws have changed a lot. Things got a lot stricter. So now you really have to have a degree, like a bachelor's degree, before you can go work at a school. Most schools will even require you to have a TOEFL certificate that shows that you have experience teaching English, if you're teaching English. So yeah, there's a lot of requirements and it is not as easy anymore to start working here as it used to be. People also want to know whether I came here to China to study first and then found a job, or how that worked. I decided to come to China after I'd been working in the Netherlands for about a year. I had been substituting in schools for a long time and I was just done with that. So I decided to take a year off, go to China to teach and travel, but that really didn't happen. You can see that in the video that I posted recently as an introduction to my 10 years in China series. There I explain my life story, so if you haven't seen that one, check that out. People also always want to know how much can you earn when you work in education in China. Well, salaries can be very different and it really depends on where you work, where in China you work, but also what kind of school you work. I've worked jobs where I got, I think it was 4,500-5,000 renminbi per month. That is about $600-700 US, I'd say. But I've also had jobs where I got 13,000-14,000 RMB per month. There are also schools, especially international schools, that pay a lot more money and you'll get a lot of benefits too. Some people make up to 40,000 renminbi per month. Another question related to work was whether young people who come to China can easily find work or not, and if they would pick up any like low-paying jobs like they might do in other countries. I think that's hard to say. I don't really know how that works, but in general, I think most people come here with a job. They go look for a job when they're in the home country, or if they are working in a different country. They start looking for a specific job while they are somewhere else. So when they come to China, they already have a job lined up. It's not that you can just show up here in China and go job hunting. It's really hard because you need a lot of paperwork when you are applying for a work permit, and most of the time you will have to get those papers back in your home country. So it's really the easiest to find a job while you're in your home country, or if you are working in another country, to get all the paperwork there, find a job here and then come to China. I also get a lot of comments about Chinese and speaking the language, and questions about whether I can speak the language, how long it took me to learn the language, and if I could already speak the language before moving to China. So let me tell a little bit about that. When I first came to China, I really didn't speak a single word. I really didn't even want to come to China. It was never on my list of places to go to, let alone live and work for a while. So I didn't speak the language. Once I got here, I started to learn the language a little bit. In Shenyang, I took classes for half a year for one semester and that helped a bit. But it wasn't until 2015 when I took a year off from work to go to school, to go to a university and learn Chinese there at school. And that really helped me to improve my listening skills, my speaking skills, my reading skills. Writing skills not so much, but in general my Chinese got much better. And for reference, for those of you who know HSK, I was able to take the HSK 5. There's a total of 6, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of my Chinese level. A couple of questions that I got were about coronavirus. The COVID-19 is on everybody's mind. It's still going around in a lot of countries, so people were asking me whether or not I still have to wear a mask, because in the videos I was not wearing a mask. Well, it depends really. Like outside right now in the park I don't have to wear a mask, but when I go to work and I go to my school I do have to wear a mask inside the building. Also, when you go to restaurants or shops you have to put your mask on, so I always carry one with me. And there's still a few other regulations, like you have to scan a QR code to make sure you are healthy and those kind of things. But in general, it is getting much better here in Beijing. And these masks, we were wearing them the whole time for the past 6 months. But back in the day, I was wearing them a lot because of the bad air quality. And that is the question that I got a few times as well. People want to know what the air quality is like now. Well, Beijing really has done a lot to improve the quality of the air and to reduce air pollution. When I first came to Beijing like 7 years ago, we got some really bad days where you couldn't even see like 10 meters ahead of you. Now, a couple of years later, it has improved a lot. Like in winter, it can still get bad, but it's not like that we have just a few good days that we used to have. Now there is a few bad days. So in general, the air quality has improved a lot, which is really good. Something else people wanted to know, more personal question, is whether Miguel and I want to have children at some point. And right now, and I don't think ever we're going to have any kids. Yeah, no kids for us, just the two of us and our baby cats. There were also a few questions about how I deal with negative comments or negative opinions about China. And to be honest, usually when I get negative comments from people on my YouTube channel and they're really trying to they're really mean, I just delete them because I don't want that on my channel. I don't like that. When they're saying you're making propaganda or you are paid by the CCCP, sometimes I laugh, or sometimes I say, well, I wish, that would be nice. But in general, I try to delete those because I don't really want that. That's not what my channel is about. And if people in real life ask me about my life in China and they bring up like negative stuff, I explain what it is like and what my life is like, and that I've been here for 10 years. And if it was really as bad as people like say it is, if they tell me, well, it's really bad, it's like, well, is it? Have you been living here? Do you live here? I tell them that I've been here for 10 years, and how could I have been living here for 10 years if it was really that bad? So I've lived here for 10 years without any real issues, and like any country where you go, like even in the Netherlands, there would be problems. So there's issues in each country you go. Hey, this is Yvonne back home. When I got home and checked my phone, I saw that there were a few more questions. So I thought I would answer those as well. One of them is, if you would move to another place in the world, where would you go? I don't know. Like we talk about it, about leaving China and going somewhere else. We think sometimes about going to the States, but the situation in the States is not ideal right now, and also for me it will be more difficult to find work there and get the right paperwork. We sometimes consider Canada because Miguel is half Canadian, so he could get his citizenship and then we could possibly move there. Who knows, maybe the Netherlands is an option, and sometimes we talk about maybe Thailand or Vietnam and stay in Asia. So really we don't know where we would go. And there was another related question, I think. If I would have the chance to live anywhere else in China, where would I choose? That's a great question too. I'm not sure. I've heard Shenzhen is really nice. I haven't lived in the south at all, and I've only been there a few times. Like the only southern place in China I've been to is Yangshuo. So I would definitely be up for living somewhere in the southern area of China. And then there was one that is about the recent developments with TikTok and WeChat and the bans of those apps. And that person was asking, how are people reacting to WeChat being forced to unable to use? So the fact that WeChat is not going to be in the App Store anymore in the United States. I haven't heard too many people about it. Only a few friends are worried whether they can continue to use it, especially because they have bought their phones in the States and they're using the US App Store. But most of the people I know who use it are Chinese, and they would have no problem. And most of the foreign people I know who use WeChat have a phone they bought here in China, so they should also be fine. Personally, I'm not really worried about it either. I think I'll be fine in continuing to use it. Those were the questions. There were not a whole lot of questions, but I really wanted to make this video to say thank you to you guys, because I really appreciate all of your comments, likes, and that you're watching my content. That's why I'm making it. I've been making videos for a long time and I never really got an audience and people never commented, so seeing all of your comments and reading all of them really makes me happy. There's people there on the other side of the screen who want to get married with, like, I'm already married, guys, sorry. But yeah, they say I could be a host, and so that's great coming home to those kinds of comments, and if I read those I forget all the negative ones. Also, for now, I'm just making these videos and they do take a lot of time and energy. We're out here every weekend filming. So if you like the videos and if you would like to support me, you could buy me a coffee through Buy Me a Coffee. I'll put the link here in the description below. Maybe once we hit 10K, I'll start a Patreon page, but for now, I'm going to use this platform, Buy Me a Coffee. So if you want to donate me a coffee, thank you so much. And then in our next video, I will share my 10 favorite places that I've traveled to in China. We will continue with the 10 years in China series, and that video will be up soon, so stay tuned for that one. Thank you again, and see you in my next video. Bye!